We're here in Elkhart, Indiana, the home of RV manufacturing. I think it's 98% of all RVs are made here.
Something like that,
from North America.
And the parts and all of that.
And there's a lot of them. Lippert's out here, Dometic's out here. It's a whole thing. Today we're gonna head out on a bike ride. We'll talk about these in the future as well, but we want to get a little bit of exercise in and just explore the city because there's a lot to see and I'm sure we're not even going to scratch the surface. But what can we see from the ground and the air? We'll bring Dora the drone and have a little fun.
Yeah.
Let's go. Now, Google Maps gives us a general idea where some of these factories are, right? Like we know that there's say a Heartland factory. Heartland Factory 2, I think, is over here to our right. But we don't know exactly what they do. And, oh, interesting. Heartland looks like I see some Super Cs over here. But all throughout these like nondescript buildings, they're doing things like plastic forming, you know, all the the tub liners and the shower stalls, things like that. They're working these plastics, molding them, and then they'll ship them to another factory. And of course, you're gonna have your countertop manufacturers. Like every little part that goes into these is going to be out here. Some of them, yeah, this is River Valley Plastics Incorporated. I'm sure like the fender skirts and things like that. But I've seen how some of these companies will also turn into something else, something they did not expect. So looks like these guys might actually do something with ambulances here. Medics Specialty Vehicles. Oh yeah, they're upfitting the Mercedes and the Transit chassis. That's kind of interesting. And then this is Deemer's ambulance. So these are right next to one another. I'm wondering if they're actually the same company. They just two different names. Maybe they're, you know, quote unquote competitors for one another. Yeah, interesting. These also kind of look more European than anything. So those look very European, from the built-in lamps, the emergency lights there, and the color scheme. We don't really do this sort of highlighter yellow sort of deal. So if you guys know, do we for some reason ship from Elkhart over to the UK? I don't know. I mean, they don't have nearly as much land as we do. Maybe we do.
Maybe.
Medics Plant 5. Interesting. I do love a good diamond plate bumper though. Oof, big ol' dent on that sucker. I do find it particularly interesting to see like big groups of these large vehicles. You know, one is impressive, but to see so many of them in a row and the uniformity is just it's kind of neat. Heartland Recreational Vehicles Corporate Headquarters, 2831 Dexter Drive in Elkhart, Indiana. You know, they're not overly impressive buildings, and that's probably for the best. Maybe it's to be expected, but you go to places like Apple and Google and Microsoft, and they're just these massive, huge buildings that you are paying for, naturally, right? As a consumer, that's kind of what you're paying. Out here, though, they keep it pretty modest, it seems. We see a few factories over here, but we're not seeing a lot of product yet. I can see some things. Minivans, I wonder if that's for, you know, accessibility vans and such.
I wonder if they just can't, they can't keep the product on the lot. Like they're just turning them around so quick.
As if they're selling out, or?
Yeah, or if they're just making them to order kind of thing.
It could be part of that. I mean, I know that there are a few companies that do that. They don't build it until it's been ordered.
Well, and I know that like RV sales are down generally, so I'm wondering if they're just like not making way more than they can, especially because I think they're at the model year switch point. Yeah.
Gillette generators, I've never heard of that. That is a freaking massive generator though, look at that sucker. Thor's out here as well. There's Kibby Chem, which I imagine is something, maybe they do something with plastics, or, what in the world is that? Man, they got two ACs on the roof, cool deck. A deck is goals, like the rear deck, not the top deck, but they have both. And look at those air horns. Yeah, there's a small bit of stock. Yeah, I think this little guy right here, the wrap is kind of cheesy, but it looks like it's probably, I gotta imagine that is for a specific customer, maybe a business, you know? Every now and then you get like an old bus here. It seems like some of these folks have similar passions to us, RVs and buses. Yeah. Some of our favorite things. Look at that big old sucker. This guy right here, that's a beast. You got those sliding glass windows. That's a big sucker. That's the impression, right? Yep. Only a single solar panel, but it's a triple axle trailer, so you know they put a lot in there. Force, river, and pressure. I almost want to check that out. Look at all the slides on that sucker. I am glad that they bring some light through the windows up here. That's nice. And even more interesting, what air conditioner is that? Oh, it's a Coleman. It has a very similar shroud to what our 12-volt unit. Huh. We kind of switch things up a little bit. They sure are impressive rigs though. Like maybe not the highest quality, but the fact that we can get so much in is crazy. And something that you can just tow around. Like you can take these anywhere, or dang near anywhere. Yeah, they've gone with the dark gray there. Also, there doesn't appear to be a lot of consistency with like which solar panels go on which. But I am thinking about like building one of these. I mean, that's a lot of work.
I feel like with these, you just kind of put them where you can now.
This might be. Well, they probably also have holding facilities. And General RV has a, oh, there he goes with that one. That looks like a destination trailer. Look at the size of that slide.
Oh, I see it over there.
General RV, yeah, and they wrap those front windows, has a PDI facility. So they actually check them before they head out to the General RV dealerships. And I don't know what that really says something when a dealership has to have their own PDI facility in Elkhart, Indiana. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's a big old rig. Look at all those windows and doors, and that's not the biggest one out here though. This is just Heartland. No, that's an active facility. So I don't know. Maybe they're just sticking them where they can, but I like this layout with I've always liked the layouts that they have the back door. That kind of butt door. So, oh, east-west is also interesting. I remember we were at an RV show and somebody goes, oh yeah, east-west is, I mean, they're just a high-quality unit. You know, it was the owner just got sick of the quality issues and this and that. The guy tried telling us that. So, if you need service on your Heartland trailer, here they are. So you can actually see they've ripped the front half off. You see some of the insulation, whatever it is. We've got a slide out here. That's kind of cool to see. And across the street, it is an empty building apparently, and no cars or no signs of life. This is their HR department. I mean, they must switch what these buildings do around all the time. And I'm sure that HR is lowest on the priority list here. So, used to be a factory at some point, at least.
I wonder if HR works like hybrid schedules where they work from home for a couple days a week and then in an office a couple days a week.
Yeah, I think a lot of, I mean, why would you go in if you didn't have to? These big old systems. I wonder what a lot of these do. Some looks like ventilation, some looks like heating, but they do go through people frequently because this is hard work. Like, at the end of the day, say what you will about the product quality, but like building an RV, hell, servicing an RV,
yeah,
it's hard work. You know, my back's not cut out for it, I know that. There's a Rockwood mini light. So this must be a pickup location. A yellow, I've never seen a Yellowstone. But yeah, transport, waiting for transport. Those guys, man, they freaking move. Time is money. But I also see a Jayco back there. I'm seeing a lot of the Furrion 15Ks back here. And Forest River Puma. That is a long trailer. That is a long, long trailer. But guess what else is out here? AirXL and Dicor products are out here. I've never heard of Vixen Composites. I don't want to think about the potential air quality issues in here with all these chemicals, but the chemicals they make go on our roofs and seal everything. So some people like Dicor, some people prefer Geocell, but this is where they're at. It's just kind of interesting. I gotta say, I don't know that this is the most impressive tour, right? But it is very interesting to me, you know, how many companies, I mean, these are worldwide products.
Well, and it's interesting, like how many different like components to each brand and each product there are here. Like, yeah, here's just dealer parts. And then there's another parts, and there's another parts.
Well, and things are just moving. And you notice these are like county roads and yeah, people
are flying up and down the roads.
It's something, yeah. But no, it's kind of cool to see though.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun. So Thermo King is the lighter building right behind this brown one. And you can see all the Kroger delivery vehicles. So they do air conditioners or freezer, big refrigerant units. That's kind of cool. I will say in Las Vegas, that would have been nice to have.
A big refrigerator unit, yeah.
Just trying to escape into a fridge. There's East West, plant 504. out here. Oh, it's a turnabout. So they're rocking on the left side. We got Super Cs over here. Hopefully you guys can make that out. Super Cs. They got little Class Cs on the Mercedes chassis. Got trailers and all that good stuff. I am really digging the color scheme they got going on here. That's really cool. I know Forest River's really gone to the square windows lately, but really cool. I did not know they were doing Super Cs. It looks like a 550 or an F600 chassis. Oh yeah, they're really playing around with color schemes here. East-West must be like their more playful brand, I wonder. It is a catchy name, but it's sort of funny trying to figure out like where some of these guys came up with the names. Like some of them are kind of named after, like the Venetian.
Well, like East to West makes sense.
East to West, yeah. Yeah, because you
didn't
really don't.
Didn't East to West start as a travel trailer?
Something like that, but anywho, we've seen them at a few RV shows. What we noticed is that was the first one that we saw from Forest River that was like white. It was like bright interior. But we were told that it was like, oh, these are really high quality. The owner was getting, upset that like there wasn't anything high quality. So I think it was a female, he claimed, something like that. Oh, they want to make something better quality, but if you look at how they're made, you've got a lot of like trim and staples, and that's not, I don't know, it didn't impress me.
They were impressive at first, I think, but
because they were different
at the time, yeah. At the time, they were like a couple years ago, compared to everything that was brown coming out.
Okay.
Like it was a nice fresh change.
Felt brighter.
But now everybody else has gone white too, so.
Now, it is funny because I can go either way. I like a good dark wood or I like a white. I'm not a big fan of like a yellow, like a light wood.
No, see, and I'm a fan of like not wood colors as like big pieces. I prefer them as like an accent.
Fair. Like a countertop.
Yeah, well, or like a piece of furniture or like a shelf or like something like that.
I hate the faux wrapped wood. That pisses me. It just makes me angry.
Yeah.
It's like you're stupid grain. Like, get out of here.
I prefer the colors. Like Escape just released all those cool new color cabinets.
Oh, God, yeah.
I love that.
Like, don't pretend. I think that's the thing for me. Like, I don't care for like the pretending to be wood. If you're real wood, like that's one thing. But like pretending to be wood is just so cheesy to me.
Right.
I love our white, but it is hard to keep clean.
Right.
It's not hard, but
it'd be a lot easier without the dogs.
Yeah, actually, we'd probably clean it maybe once every 2 months without the dogs, but it's like
once every 2 weeks with the dogs.
Yeah, not a big deal. You just get used to it, and you don't really see it as much. But when you look, you see it.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool. This is an east to west. So I think this is why I thought it was primarily travel trailers. Kind of cool to see all the production happening here. Apparently these guys are not having a bad time. They're producing out here. I do love the American flag on the top of the tractor there. That's cool. Yeah, lots and lots of rigs, and they're moving them. It seems like they've got transporters as soon as they're done with them. They're just bringing them out, hooking them up, off they go. What do you guys think? I mean, there is benefits to having an all-white trailer. Absolutely. It's maybe not as aesthetically pleasing, but would you rather have, like, do you care at all about how the trailer looks? I should start a poll, actually. Or would you rather have, like, custom colors? Like, what if they threw in a little, like, pink, green, yellow, a little red in there? A little red and white, a little flair on some of these. Blue. Blue's the easy one. What do you guys think? Man, look at all these. It looks like organized chaos. Which I realize is kind of an oxymoron, but it looks chaotic and organized. Okay, so east to west even has fifth wheels, as we can see here. I did not know that, did you?
No, I didn't know that.
The size of those awnings. Sheesh. 3 air conditioners on this big old sucker. The Tandera. So around the slides they have black trim. What do you think about that?
I don't hate it. I mean, could be worse.
Look at all those seal points around this guy. I don't know. I think I would have preferred white.
I think it's just calling it what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, not hiding where at least you know where to caulk and where to seal. It's fair. Yeah, look at all the materials. Like, it is crazy, thinking about like how many things have to go right with every manufacturer in order to make RVs like this. It's not one of those, this is not like a backyard production where like, okay, I'll just go to a different vendor, right? Like, these guys have contracts and they've got so many different you know, products that are required in order to, like adhesives and plastics and doors. I mean, Jayco was held up because they couldn't get doors during the pandemic.
But I also wonder how many of them are just contracting the companies that are close to them for like accessibility reasons. Like if I run out of this, then what other quick option do you have that you can get me from the factory versus like outsourcing from other places?
This is interesting. They've got all these vans here. They have a lot of vans here. I did not, and a lot of these vans are missing windows. That's even more interesting. Why? Why are all these vans missing windows? What are you guys doing out here? Do you know that East to West had vans?
No, I just thought they were in like the Class C and the trailer game.
Huh, interesting. But yeah, it is one of those things where like if we complain about quality, then like the way materials feel and how long they're holding up, you'd think it would be an easy thing for them to simply go, okay, well let's work with our vendors and find something that doesn't feel so flimsy, right? I know it's a balancing act of like costs and, you know, all this stuff, but I wonder sometimes if they are putting what's in them because there's just nobody around them.
Could be.
That has that product that they're looking for.
Looks like they're done working for today here.
Oh, are they all?
They're all leaving.
Yeah, a little holding lot over here. It's just so cool to see, I think. I don't know. The scale is what's impressive. Especially the fact that these are freaking massive rigs. It's not like the iPhone plant where it's, you know, all small parts. These are just kind of the scale of an iPhone plant almost. But with, you know, 10 to 20,000 pound rigs. So this is the Forest River Sunseeker Forester Solera motorhome plant, and we can see a lot of really cool things out here on both sides. It is funny because they have so many different little companies. I have to wonder how many of them are actually just Forest River. They're just like an LLC, so if like one fails, it doesn't take the whole thing down.
I think it's like ABC or Alphabet owns Google kind of thing.
Right. So that one can get sued and they don't, yeah, sort of divisions or whatever, but like legal divisions. Let's go ahead and get the drone up. There's a lot of cool stuff to see around here. Class C manufacturing is I think one of my favorite things to look at. In terms like, if it was like a fifth wheel or a Class C, I want to see attaching stuff to trucks is just so cool. Whoa, now this is a huge factory here. And so we have the drone right overhead and we can kind of see what we're working with. We've got chassis over here. Yeah, those look like Class C's. And there's a few Class A's, so we'll check those out. You can actually smell the paint, you know, as we're sitting out here. Looks like they have doors, maybe over there. And then over here, maybe a lighter load, but almost looks like those might be black tanks, gray tanks, things like that. And the lighter Class C's over here. Easiest to hardest, what are these things?
It's like framed for walls. These are walls.
Maybe slide frames, something like that. It does look like they're changing shifts or something to that effect. They've got some delivery trucks here. They've got transit chassis, but Mercedes, as far as I understand, will not allow you, here's a Mercedes chassis, they will not allow you to modify those frames. They will void that warranty real quick. So you cannot add tanks or you can't make any modification or it will void the warranty. It's kind of interesting. I'm sure it's a stipulation. Whoa, look at that. We didn't see this last year anywhere. Ram chassis. And these are looking white to me. Don't those look white? Those look silver.
Those look silver.
So I wonder if they're using steel. Does that make it easier or harder to weld on?
Or would they be aluminum?
Dude, this whole like area kind of looks a little ratty. Little ratty, that's all right. Oh man, look at that. Phoenix parts. Tree fall on that or something? Sheesh. And there we have the Econolines. Really cool stuff. Now, in a Isuzu, so my guess is these are not, so this is an F6, what's an F650 or 750, right? F650, yes. Is this an experimentation thing? I like the Isuzu, the idea of the Isuzu with a flat nose. That gives you more, you know, we don't really build on those here. Oh, there goes a Mercedes. Oh, and then there's more industrial ones. So, granted, these guys also do other stuff.
They do build box trucks and you know, refrigeration trucks and all that. So, you know, this isn't the only thing that they're doing out here. Look at all these Econolines. That's wild. It almost looks like the Ford factory here, you know, with all the F-150s is the what it's reminiscent of. That's crazy. Also kind of interesting. So this is actually like an XL model of the E450, 350. You're not getting chrome. I wonder why they order them the way they do. You know, Winnebago, on the other hand, and there's a little red, oh, a blue E-Series, and then a Transit in red. But yeah, like Econoline, there's a F-Series there. Oh, and some GM, and they have all sorts of chassis here. I find that interesting. But Winnebago will actually order the fancier chassis with the drive assist and all that nonsense. I don't care for it, but some of you guys probably do like it. But I've never seen a Forest River product with a fancier chassis. Most don't. They all go with like the basic Econoline. Some of that stuff can just be added later on. So in the factory behind us, we're seeing a lot of delivery vehicles, delivery type vehicles at least, and I'm wondering are these their work vehicles or are these production of these vehicles? Oh, that's kind of a cool truck, actually, all the boxes on the side. Huh. So, gotta wonder about that. Are they making them or what? And I got all these parts out here. What is this all about? Jumble of, looks aluminum maybe, I don't know. It's very curious, very curious. And, you know what that probably is? Does that look like ramps to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you strap ramps to the back of the box trucks. Oh, that's an older rig. That's a country coach. What would a country coach?
Maybe they're doing some R&D.
Yeah, they used to make them really well. What are we doing wrong today? Huh, okay, fascinating. It's kind of like when we went to the Ford facility and we saw the Ram vans there, and they were actually like research units. Maybe that's what we got going on here. And if so, kudos to Forest River for trying to steal better ideas. I like the silver they're working with here, but what is that? Is this a new, we don't often see that hump. You see that? We don't usually see that hump there.
No.
At least I don't notice them, I suppose. They're usually like flat. Kind of cool. I always wonder though, how many of these are just like research units. That one's really cute. Look at that small little guy, all painted up, looking all adorable. Look at that. Now I would never buy a Mercedes unit. It's just I don't like that chassis personally. And a lot of people will say they ride really well. I don't see the justification for that. But you know, to each their own. Oh, and there's a lot of parts out here. There's a lot of parts. So a lot of plastics and such here. What the heck is... Let me figure out. Some of these look like the front, kind of the front overcab deals, the cowlings for those. Probably a lot of that. And some metal work. Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to be building on these. Can we see anything? We cannot. It is so cool seeing the chassis mods. And a lot of times they'll have third-party companies do their modifications just so they get done right. I also imagine it kind of limits their liability a little bit too. And you can see some of the chassis with the outriggers here already done. Some of these outriggers are kind of like boxed. Some of them are, let's see if we can, yes, okay, I see. So this is probably the Forester right here, the 30+ foot units. And it looks like, yeah, the first, 2/3 of the platform is going to be right on the rails, and then they raised it up probably for storage in the back, if I'm not mistaken. That adds up. And then wall panels here. It's so cool seeing all the parts. I don't imagine it rains all too much in the summer here, so it must be kind of nice. I wonder what that material is. Well, it is interesting though. They are not building just one type of rig there. I mean, I imagine that helps with like boredom, like you're always doing a little something different every day, but also might mean that you're a little less consistent. Whoa, look at that field over here. That is a lot of, that's a lot of chassis. Holy cow. And the same thing out here. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of those like Isuzu chassis also. So I wonder what else they're building here. I know StarCraft, which is also owned by Jayco. They do transit bus, like little shuttle bus manufacturing. Those things are not cheap. Okay, so I do have some. I don't see the F53 chassis out here. Okay, yeah, there's a, looks like a GT7 pre-paint. There's that FR3 next to it, but that's interesting. So is this a paint booth out here then? Seems like it, but where's the, yeah, there's a Georgetown. Where are those chassis then? So I wonder if this is just the paint booth for all of them and they just drive those over when they're ready to be painted. Forest River, this is a big plant. Like it's multiple buildings. I mean, they obviously have a whole system here. It kind of looks chaotic, but obviously not too bad.
They've got it all figured out, I'm sure.
Yeah, no joke. There's a Forest River Solera on a Econoline chassis, and it looks like it has a partial paint.
No, that is the actual Georgetown plant, it says. Plant 68 there. I thought it was just a paint booth or something, but it appears not. I don't think this showed up well on the drone, but you can actually see the faces of those. I believe they're fiberglass. Maybe like PVC infused fiberglass. But you can see their faces right there. That's kind of neat.
This is a Forest River Park model plant, and it really isn't a whole lot to look at. You would, you definitely, you'd be forgiven for missing it. Frankly, we rode by it and did not even, I mean, if it wasn't on Google Maps, we would have completely missed it. From the road, you really don't see a whole lot, but you can actually see back here a little bit more from the air. So you can see some of the frames that they're using, which is kind of, it's always kind of neat. Moving a park model home is something that you really don't see a whole lot. I mean, you see like half and half, like manufactured housing, but these are all complete units, often about 400 square feet. And these kind of just look like tiny homes to me. You know, a lot of these, and a lot of folks do live in them, or this sort of looks like a shed more than anything. I like that porch. But there are regulations around park model homes, and you do have different standards, electrical codes and such. As I understand it, these are more intended for full or most time living. And they have quite a few different options here. And when you think about manufactured housing, yeah, like these windows, for example. Look at, I mean, those are all just regular residential style windows. That's kind of cool. Not a very big factory here, but when you think about like manufactured housing, I know sometimes it gets a real bad rap, which makes sense. You know, people are like, oh, they're cheaper houses, or they blow away in tornadoes and such. And here's some of the shower surrounds. But when you think about it, they have the opportunity to potentially be more consistent with their building processes and less likely to get rain on the materials and all of that. And with a park model home in particular, you know, you fit into different zoning, so you may or may not be legally allowed to have this on your own property or what have you. But if you are in a more litigious or regulations-oriented area, maybe a city, these definitely seem like a much better option than just And I love the idea of building your own tiny home, but this may be even better. You may be allowed to have one of these in some areas that a regular RV is not allowed. But these are a little closer to a regular RV, as I understand it, because of their foundation, than a manufactured house might be. But I believe that many of these, you can get them with tie downs and all that good stuff. So if you're in the Midwest and you have concerns of tornadoes and all that, this shouldn't be too big of a concern for you. Yeah, I wish we could go into the factory here, but they are clearly off for the day. I find this, I'm curious what they're doing here. And they all have it, so I'm wondering if that's like a, maybe they're gonna put metal on that side or something like that. It is interesting seeing the shingles, like that's a regular, you know, this is going to go down the road, so I imagine they do a pretty good job with the shingles and the adhesives and stuff. That's a whole deal, but and they even put the Forest River logo on them. Look at that. It is interesting that it comes out of this little tiny building. All of this production's out of this little building here. Presumably, right? Really like a nondescript building. There's a lot going on in this area.
Home for the evening, and I have a lot of fun in this area. I could stay here for a long time. I think Emma gets a little bored of it, but understandably. We are lining up a few tours. We have one company that's really excited to have us, you know, come and hang out. Maybe more of that kind of product than this kind of product, but everybody has their preferences, and hopefully we have a little something for everybody on this channel. Even if you only get to see the finished product, but like seeing these like huge fields of finished product, like that's crazy. And there's always something to learn, and things are always changing in the RV industry. Brands are just completely dying, and sometimes they're replaced with a new name, sometimes an entirely new product, right? Sometimes they just kind of refresh things. And as a result, what we see this year will not be the same state of industry next year. You know, entire products, you know, something as simple as an air conditioner can really revolutionize the entire industry. So we're having a lot of fun, which, speaking of air conditioning, we don't need it, not today. 80 was the max, and it's just feeling so good. So as long as we have some windows open, we're all set. But anywho, thank you guys for watching. We have a lot more coming up from Elkhart here, and there's so much to see and explore, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.